To me, that seems more of to divide and conquer. Divide the people and conquer their mind. Hi there. Thank you for joining me with another episode of Still Growing. If you're new here, thank you for joining us. And if you're a subscriber, please come on in and take your favorite share. Okay, so this is the last installment of the 4 great truths of African spirituality. So, great truth number 4. Doing spiritual discipline lead to knowledge of oneself, knowing one's heart, which means truth of spirit, which is becoming awakened and enlightened in spirit. Okay, so again, for great truth number 4 is basically summarizing the fact that you will need to do spiritual disciplines in order to every day build your awakening and develop enlightenment. So one of the process of being enlightened is knowing that there will be a day of judgment or a judgment of the soul. And this is to determine where the soul will go after death. There is no God in heaven waiting for judgment, nor will you have the chance to repent on your deathbed before you pass away. No Hail Mary, no forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. No asking for forgiveness at the end of your life. Nothing will overcome the weight of unrighteousness. Judgment is determined by your own unconscious level of mind, by your own internal God or goddess that dwells within. Because remember, we talked about the fact that God, who is the creator and is God in one, moves within everything within the earth. And so us as humans, or at least as African people, God lives within us. And we ourselves are not, for lack of better word, full God, but we are in transition of learning and growing into enlightenment. You know, when I was going over this, just reviewing this information, this reminded me about when I was in church. And I remember a particular sermon, and this sermon and the conversation that followed stayed with me for years. I remember the pastor was speaking about the importance of spreading the gospel, and that if one does not hear the gospel and was given the chance to repent. And so I remember having a conversation with the pastor afterwards. And so anyway, with the story, I said to him, what about people who live in places that has never been exposed to the gospel? And he said to me that there's no excuse for ignorance. And I said, but Pastor, what about, for instance, people that live in Australia, let's say, live out on the outback? What about these people that are living far out that no one can reach? And he said, ignorance is no excuse. And as I said, that conversation stayed with me for years because that made absolutely no sense. How can a loving God create a people, or a person for that matter, and doom them to death without that person having an opportunity to save themselves or to have someone save them? It was not until years later that it became clear to me that that religion was not created for my benefit, but the benefit of others. So basically, my point in saying that is that he knew what he was talking about. He chose to pass on the lie instead of to tell the truth. I digress. So just to continue, to summarize the last week of discussion on African spirituality. Great truth number 1 says that God is one, one without second, one and only. No greater or lesser God. No devil that became God. The supreme being from beginning to the end. Or as Christianity will say, the Alpha and the Omega. The source. One supreme being that manifests as all. One ultimate reality. One spirit. And it was from that concept, that one original concept, that we get the following, where Christianity refers to the one as God the Father, where Muslim refer to the one as Allah, where Hindus refer to the one as Krishna or Vishnu, where Buddhas refer to the one as Buddha. But interestingly enough, although in African spirituality, which is the original concept, the original philosophy, where all these other religion take part of their doctrine from, they believe that their God is the only one, and that their God does not operate in any other religion, and that to refer to their God as the same God in other religion, and if you refer to God as any of these other names, that's being blasphemy. To me, basically, that seems like the concept of divide the people and conquer their mind, which basically make it easy to control. Easy to control people when you can divide them and put them in different region and different philosophy. And no religion should cross over. How can it be as people on the earth, there's so many gods? But the whole concept of God all came from one original concept. There's an ancient African proverb that says, the path to the divine is one, with two parts, wisdom and devotion. Devotion without wisdom is blind faith, and wisdom without devotion is just dry intellectualism. You can't get wisdom without being able to question any and everything, so that you're able to get your own personal internal answer. And that by following your disciplines, you should be able to feel a constant change as you progress in your devotion. If you're going to church every Sabbath or every Sunday, and over the last 5, 10, 15 years, there hasn't been a change, and you haven't learned anything new about yourself, you're just basically repeating the same thing over and over again. What's the use when you are given a brain for a reason? So instead of requesting blind obedience, African spirituality is interested in making you free, making you an enlightened being, and not a slave to ignorance or illusion. If you have to choose a religion, shouldn't it be the original? Or if not, shouldn't it at least be one that was intended for your people? Or if not that, shouldn't it be at least one that allows you to make your own mind up, to think? And if not that, shouldn't it be one that you can feel lasting change within yourself personally, free of heart and mind and soul? We'll leave it there for now. Please remember to subscribe, give me a like, and until next time, peace and love.